I think the challenges are the greatest challenges that we're facing today are the same challenges we've been facing since the beginning of time. It's just a different flavor, you know. If you look in the Bible and you look at the Babylonian Empire, we're experiencing it today. If you look in the Bible and you look at the Egyptians, we're facing it today. They crucified Christ on the cross. All he did was raise people from the dead. So when I look at the challenges from a Christian viewpoint, right, then I say that this is nothing new under the sun. And I think the challenges of today is that we know we know that society will always find a way to segregate. Will always find a way to separate. If we took the senses from us, if we couldn't see, we'll go around touching people. Mm-hmm. If we couldn't touch people and see people, we'll go around smelling people. Mm-hmm. We will find a way to separate and segregate. And that's the devil's tool. And I think that's the biggest challenge is that we probably don't have enough faith-based organizations and people to help people fight that battle.
Yeah. Biggest challenges we're facing today. I don't know that the church and outside the church is much different right now. I think the polarization and just the sequence of events over the last 4 years, people just seem to be so disconnected from each other. And it's almost like you hear, all the two sides, but your neighbors don't even talk about it anymore. And it's like there was a point where you go, well, you're wrong, or I agree with you. That one of the things that I've seen is that isolation,
yes,
and almost like there's a disconnect as we've dropped into whatever news cycle we're in the middle of, and whatever chamber we're in the middle of, and more it's just we're not going to talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, I can make it personal. I get that conversation before Christmas dinner. We're not going to talk about this at Christmas dinner. So we've stopped in some cases of having a dialogue with someone else, so you could ever understand where someone else is coming from. And it feels like this disconnectedness.
Yes.
It's setting in, as opposed to going after and trying to break it down.
It is. We've lost, to piggyback on that, I think of two things based off of what you said as to the greatest challenges facing our American society. Is one, we weaponize the church. And we use it as a judgment, we use it as a dividing line. I'm a Christian, you're not. Are they a Christian? Christ came to save all. And to spend time with all so that his example could rub off on all. And we weaponize the church in this way that has this judgment to it, or this sense of me and them that just isn't healthy. And it's not the way in which you actually will perpetuate the church. In fact, it's the opposite. And then two, to your point again, we've lost respect. And we don't know how to respect each other. In the neighborhood that I grew up in, that's the first way people fight. You disrespected me. You didn't show me respect. It's interesting because oftentimes in the black church, we dress up. The reason why we dressed up was because we didn't have respect elsewhere. So we came to the church to show and be respected, and to wear big hats and wear nice clothes to be respected. And the worst thing you can do to a man is to disrespect him, to show that you don't care about who he is as a man. And that doesn't have to be overt. It can be subtle. It can be 1,000 little cuts. And so it's important that we respect one another because we have a lot to do in this country. We've got to take care of the ills within the country, but also without. We're not going to deal with China and Russia and Ukraine and what's going on in Gaza, and we're not going to deal with North Korea unless we do so collectively with all our talents. We need every person, every man and woman on deck for this because these challenges are unique. Frankly, they're different challenges than we faced in the past. The advent of AI and the and that mixed with weapons, and that mixed with diplomacy, and that mixed with Facebook and misinformation, we're not going to deal with this. This isn't a 1960s problem or 1860s problem. This is different, and we have to actually address that together.